Hello, good morning. My name is Rotimi Etaya, and you are on to the Good Morning Education Show. And we are streaming live from Lagos, West Africa, Nigeria to the entire world. And sorry, Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa to the entire world. And I'm excited to be here. As always, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. And as you join us, wherever you join us from, whatever location you are, please do let us know. State your location, especially where you're streaming from, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Do let us know. And of course, send me your comments, your questions, and we'll be excited to read out your comments during the show and also to make some answers available to your questions. And as usual, I have my fantastic analyst and guests and friends in the studio today, and I will want to welcome Dr. Eben. How are you today? Are you there? All right. Jude, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Mr. Rotimi. Good morning, good morning. Mr. Iben, I
Eben
think
seems to be lost in transit.
his mic is off, I think.
No, it's not off.
Or his
Eben,
headset.
are you there?
He's there, his headset.
Eben.
I fixing it, I think.
I'm not sure he knows he's online. All right, while we wait for the others, so Jude, how are you today? What's happening?
I'm good. A nice morning, a nice Tuesday morning. Looks cool and it looks raining somewhere.
And of course, we have KK in the building.
Yeah,
KK
go
of the
KK,
KK
go
Republic.
KK, go KK.
Her
Good morning.
Excellency KK of the KK Republic.
Yeah. Good morning.
KK, you don't want to say anything. What's happening? Why? Say
Morning,
something now.
Alitola. Hi, Ashedu. Good morning, Rotimi.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. And we're going to be having a great time today. And as usual, we will take our news and then we'll talk about the headline from the news. And then we'll come back to talk about the discussion for the day.
All right. Makes sense.
Hello, Titi. Good morning, Titi. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good morning, everyone. Hey,
Hi,
Eben in
Titi.
the house. Eben, good to
Morning.
see you in a while.
Even seems to be lost in technology. All right.
Good morning, Zajayi. Good morning,
Hi,
Juice.
Titi. Good
Morning,
morning.
Titi.
Good morning. You look sunny like the sun. I love your top. Blouse.
Thank you.
Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden
Good.
Sun, please shine down on
Rotimi,
me.
I like your background today. I like your background today. I like all these
Yes,
awards that you're showing up.
awards,
All these
intimidating.
awards you're showing up today.
The trophies, right?
Yeah, your trophy room. Okay, good to see you in your
Hashtag watch
trophy
out.
room.
All right. Thank you so much. Great to have you guys. So, any thoughts on the headlines? On the headlines today?
I like the headline from Lagos State saying that they won't be doing COVID tests for the students. We had discussed this before when Ogun State said what 25K do COVID test. And I think I agree, and that's one of the things we said before. I think I agree saying let's do all the other measures, taking temperatures, face masks, social distancing. And I think that's more cost effective in terms of a solution. And then, just have all your isolation center, safety procedures in case something happens and you need to quickly evacuate someone, things like that. I think that's a good move.
Fantastic.
And
I mean, it was interesting that
I like the part of it where
Go ahead.
Oshun is. I say I like the part of it where Oshun State they are begging teachers to come back.
to come back. Yes, exactly.
I like that.
How did they come up?
Yeah,
They
but
were concerned.
Oh my
the
goodness.
teachers they're begging to come back. They are the empower teachers, though.
Empower.
Yeah.
Yes, the federal government.
Yeah, it's
All
good.
right.
That tells you
So-
that they're trying to pull in as many resources as possible and just push through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're trying to push
Absolutely
through.
correct.
Yeah, and then in Edo schools, we had very low turnout of students in Edo State
Yes.
schools, so that was an interesting one as well.
Yes,
So obviously,
nobody
the
wants
state
to
needs
die.
to do more to let the parents know that they're safe when they come to school.
So, I think they didn't do that.
Speaking about,
I think it's
All
a
right.
case of
Titi,
people
what
want to
else
see
is
who
that?
the scapegoat, is first. Let them,
That's another
sometimes in your
perspective.
school, the first 2 days people don't really show up. Towards the end of the
Yeah.
week, then all the other people come in.
A bit more
I
people
think that's
coming.
the case,
You're right. You're right.
because in Lagos, if you should start school, some of us will be like, what? Let's see after 1 week. Let's see what's going to happen.
I know.
Let's see what they put in place. Let's see.
Let me ask, right? And I'll throw that to KK first, right? Do we think that now we're dealing with terminal classes now, but do we think that the general schools will resume this September? What's your thought?
Honestly, I don't see how we will resume in September in terms of physical school, right? I do believe that people might be given an option, but that the state might favor going online. And I think the HC kind of alluded to that, saying that the people should look at a blended learning platform and they will actually start on the online platform, getting things ready before we move to brick and mortar. So in September, I don't see that we'll resume brick and mortar. I believe that there might be more of a direction in terms of what is going to happen, but I do believe that we would start online. So those are my thoughts and my opinions.
KK is playing safe. Oh my God.
Let's hear safety's chief. Since she's just joining us, let's hear her thoughts on that.
And
hear from a safety perspective.
Safety chick was busy combing her hair this morning, so it took a while to get ready.
Please leave her alone.
Just be ready enough to be able to say, "Oh shit," you know, that kind of thing. All right, so safety chick, welcome on board.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Did you get to see any of the headlines?
Okay, no, I didn't see it when I came in.
Okay, but we're just talking about our thoughts on the possibility for the general schools to resume this September. And KK was of the opinion that she thinks that it might be online, preference might be for online, but that's our opinion. So what's your thought about that?
Okay, so for everybody, that's going to be really tough, because even for the ones, the exam classes, people are finding it hard to comply. So how much more the wider school population? So I think that schools should be considering a mixed approach to it. So this exam classes should just be like, should I say, a prototype, a pilot study to see how things work. Oh, in fact, I just remembered something just yesterday on the Association of Nigerian Women's Safety WhatsApp group. A parent said she went to drop her child in school for these exams, right? And when she got to the car, she saw that her daughter forgot something. So she went back. When she stepped in, all the students, they've all removed their mask.
Oh my goodness.
Like, this is a controlled case. Now, this is just pilot study. We're just having a few students in school, and that is happening. So imagine a wider population. So a lot of work really has to be done before everybody should come back. Otherwise, we are going to have a problem.
Disaster.
So how long are we recommending when we say this is a pilot phase? Because I'm sure KK, you agree with me that preparation will require a lot of dimension, finances, and all those things, so that people also get their planning on point. How long is it going to take, right?
I think the first thing is the government should actually come out with a position, with a firm position, which is what happened in April, when they said, oh no, third term hasn't resumed, oh no, online, blah, blah, blah. And that just kind of threw a wrench in the a spanner in the works, and everything just went to the dogs. And that's what happened. So if they come out with a firm position statement, to be honest with you, a lot of parents, because I mean, even in my school, some of the parents who didn't sign up said to me, oh, but the government said third term has not resumed. And I said, yes, but they came back and said, teach third term curriculum. So there was just so many mixed signals that, it was difficult getting, and I mean, from the parents' perspective, why do I have to pay for online school when it's not online school and pay again for third term? So if they do say, you know what, go ahead, it puts the school management, it puts even the parents in a space where they can begin to mentally prepare, and we can also begin to do things physically. But I mean, it doesn't take long where there's money to prepare the school environment, so to speak. Like I said, where there's money. I think I just throw that in there.
Oh my God. Jude, what's your thought about, do you see the government giving a direct stand or taking a stand or position that will really help people? Because I believe that a lot of people are looking to the regulators for the right kind of messaging to really know the level or tempo of preparation. Because like Keke said, where there is money, and even where there is money, people also want to ensure that the money comes in to the right time. You don't want to put in money and then somehow you discover that you have to wait again. So that might not be convenient for some people. So Jude, what's your thoughts on that?
I think the truth to be told, or the facts be faced, is we are not actually sure what we want to do. We are not actually sure. The government, they are not sure what they want to do. So it's still a trial and error thing where they are testing. Okay, let's and because there's a mix up in communication, so they might put something up there. Okay, let's test students. Let's see the reaction. The reaction was bad. Okay, let's try something else. So they are trying to pass different kinds of messages and see what works with the public and what they finally decide. So it's still, they don't know what they want to do. And I think it's not even just our government, it's still a global thing.
It's global.
Yes, everybody's testing.
So this resumption is a palliative.
October is feasible if we scale through August, September. October is feasible.
Yes, exactly.
Hello, Dr. Rhoda Odigbo. Good morning to you. How are you today? Rhoda can't show her picture. And you know why Rhoda is not showing her picture? Because she still has my seat in transit. My chair.
Oh my God.
So she dare not shows that she's sitting on the wrong seat.
Ouch. 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 Good morning. Good morning to the Good Morning Education Show. Don't mind me. His seat is not in transit, it's in his office.
No, Rhoda, I have not received the consignment from you.
Okay, don't worry. There must be a hit
I will
in the
report
delivery.
you to the Council of the Elders.
Good morning,
I'm
KK.
sure that we're
Good morning. Mr. Rotimi is refusing to let the greeting go through. It is harassment of me this morning.
Imagine that. Good morning, KK. Good morning, Jude. Good morning, Sephie. Good morning, Titi.
And to think that I wanted to induct KK into the Council of Elders. Oh, you have lost your
She has been inducted.
All right, Rhoda, good morning.
It would be good to hear Rhoda's thoughts on possible resumption, school resumption. What are her thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, we are not going to this is not going to last for so long because school closure is not going to last for so long. My worry about it still is, do we understand the strain of the virus, the spread of the virus, and do we have the infrastructure ready and set for the schools to resume? I imagine that there's that are conversations around it, certain organizations partnering with governments, having decisions around how can we actually go back to school. So I know that the conversations are being had, but I'm just worried that we're not hearing a lot of details, because details matter. And with those details, we can say confidently we're going. So details like, we have the guidelines for back to school, going back to school, but they're not saying how many children can be in the class. What is the physical size or structure of the class? What is the teacher ratio in the class? What is, the learning materials? Because again, within the school system, especially in the public sector, there's where, a lot of shared resources are used. What is the capacity of the toilets and the basically amenities, the staff room, and some of those details that allow people to feel very confident about the plans that are on ground. Can government make it for the private sector? No, of course not. The guidelines are already there. So in the private sector, schools need to just comply. So the compliance is what is helpful. While we're still trying to understand. Look, I went for a coronavirus test 2 weeks. This is effectively going to be the third week. I haven't received my result. If my result does come out, right, it is invalid. It comes out because in this time, I might have caught the virus. So there's just a lot that we really don't know yet about the strain of the virus. I'm wondering why it's taking so long for us to understand it. The strain, the tracking, the testing, and we just need to know more. Having said that, school resumption is definitely here, and we just have to work it out effectively. I just wish there was a better clarity on the details. That's what I would say.
Fantastic. Rhoda, I'll tell you to keep my chair for a while. I don't want you to send the chair for now.
What happened?
You have not received your test, Skinny. Eh?
We do not want stigmatization.
Consciousness or stigmatization. The fact that they both start with S, I'm fine. Safety. Hey.
Thank you, Ugochi.
Jude, I suspect something. These ladies are planning a coup. I don't want to sit again.
Who want it to? No stigmatization.
I don't want to again. Is it my boss?
Be inclusive. Be inclusive.
Inclusiveness. Yeah. The United Nations says every state is sovereign. I'm sovereign. All right, to the matter of the day. Rhoda, have you seen your mug? You've not seen your mug.
No, I haven't. Oh, thank you so much, Nana. I haven't. I want
Nana send the mug.
Oh my God, this is good.
I see your mug.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
like a 16 in the mug.
Wow. Can I take a moment to just say thank you to Nana?
Yes.
Nana is just a huge supporter of the Good Morning Education Show. Nana, I really appreciate you. Nana is just someone who I met a couple of years ago, and the story has just been great. And I see there's so much more between us. Nana is such a special, kind, resourceful human being, and I'm really, really just appreciate her thoughts and her support. Thank you so much, Nana.
Yeah, thank you, Nana. So I'll be drinking from Safety 6 mug today. I'll be drinking from Safety 6 mug today, and I'll be taking Titi's mug tomorrow. Titi's does it.
Funny to that.
I will connect my mug before you use it.
If you don't tell Rhoda to send my check, then you are not getting your mugs.
You are not saying you don't want the chair anymore because you are stigmatizing. Just because you heard she did a test. You've not heard results.
You will put it in the sun after they bring it. We'll sanitize it downstairs. Dude, are you together?
Yeah.
So we let's go straight to the business of the day, right? And we're speaking on same-sex schools and their comparison to the mixed one. And just a caveat for those who are listening today, we are not necessarily saying that which one is better per se in perspective, so that nobody comes from my seat or my head. But the truth about it is there's need for us to explore the conversations on topical issues where we can actually add value or create better leverage as it is. I know that some of us went to same-sex schools, or we know people who went to same-sex schools. But let's talk about same-sex schools and their comparison to mixed ones so that we can see what goes on in that world. And I will take it up from there, right? So let's start. Who will I start with now? A lot of people have the notion, I don't know how true it is because there's no statistics to really back that out or back that up. But a lot of people feel that when you have people go to same-sex school, they kind of have complex challenges. That's superiority or inferiority complex. How true can that be? Titi, let's start with you.
So who has inferiority complex? The people in same-sex or the people in mixed? Who did you say have the complex?
Let's answer the question. Why was same-sex school created? What was the reason and what was the motive behind it? When we all know the motive, then we can understand the psychology from there.
Okay, let's try that.
I don't know why it was created, to be honest. So
really,
yeah, he has some answers, so maybe he can help. I went to a same-sex secondary school. For 6 years. I can talk about my experience. Interestingly, I think almost everybody in my house is a same-sex secondary school. So it's interesting. To be fair, I think when I look at the only downside, and it depends. I think it also depends on your family background. So I went to only girls secondary school. I came from a family of 6 girls, 1 boy. So it meant for me, it was something I was already comfortable with, being female all around. So if I say that there's any talent that I saw was then an ability of people in same-sex schools to then have initial interactions with with boys. And so for us, there was a something, how it is, the forbidden fruit seems just more interesting and more engaging. So I think that was it for us. But I noticed that the people that had older brothers, they didn't have a lot of those hookups. Those of us that were used to all girls around, and they say, well, boys are passing and everybody's giggling and all that, So I think that was it. But from other perspective, in terms of education, in terms of other development, it was fine. Because we did all sorts. We did sports, drama, So I think it was only in that area. So when I have so I have two boys, I always said that I'll let them go to. I'll prefer for them to go to, mixed school so that they can get over all those hang-ups earlier in life. That's my own. So let them get over those hang-ups of, she's a boy, he's a boy, because the more you deal with people in day-to-day life, then a lot of those things tend to fade away. They're not such a big issue. That's just, my own personal experience and personal opinion.
So I think it's safe to also say now that is it right, or better still, do we have complex issues as a result of those who get to go to either same-sex schools, male or female?
I would say complex issues. That's I not say complex issues, honestly. And maybe other people should answer, because I'm a product of a same-sex school. Complex issues, no. But like I said, there are a lot of factors in it. The factors of your family, the factors of your upbringing, your environment, all those things also play a part to make those issues. And remember that your secondary school years are usually when the hormones kick in. So you can imagine. So add that into the mix, and then there's a lot of heightened excitement both ways. So, but complex issues, I would say no. That's just my perspective.
Okay, just to be a bit naughty, how did you guys celebrate Valentine's Day, Titi, when you were in your school?
It was midterm break. They didn't celebrate it.
Honestly,
why are you always rescuing Titi? Why are you always rescuing Titi? Is not your blood sister. Leave her alone.
Honestly. It was a mix, there are some girls that claim they had boyfriends and they were sending letters to their boyfriend, and then some of us that just was your fellow girlfriends that you exchanged gifts with. So it wasn't the testes of all this. I'm telling you, it was just, honestly, it was just normal. I'll be honest. It was just, there were all those issues of, there are all those issues of lesbianism, gayness, then a mild level, as things of what are they up to. But honestly, my school there was a wall dividing us and the boys' school. So there was excitement in other ways. There were all these inter-school programs that also added to the avenues for excitement, exchanging of letters. So those are some of the things that balance those things. We had various programs that required boys to come or you to go to the boys' school. They would claim they had boyfriends and in the other school. So that's why it wasn't a complete absence. There was other means of excitement, because our school was not in the bush. We had neighboring male Arabic schools near us.
I mean, both of us have probably likely the same experience. I mean, co-ed has been, I think I don't know where we got the culture from, but as a people, we have culturally, we like to culturally segregate. Let me not call it segregate, but kind of like separate. You see that separatist sort of like patterns within the way our community exists. Even way back, you see women were always kept in a different part of the village or the clan association, and then it kind of like muted into the school system in a way. I mean, co-ed for me, I went to FGGC New Busa. We were all girls, and whether or not I think you wrote to me, are speaking to complex issues and sex and sexuality, and those three. What would I call it? Those three, would I call it concepts, of those three human situations are things that whether or not you are in a co-ed or you are in a single same-sex school, whatever you are can be highlighted in it with everything,
Yeah.
whether you are whichever way place you find yourself. However, in a same-sex school, because of things like, when your hormones are ranging, you're still trying to learn who you are, you could be influenced. And I saw a lot of girls influenced by this big word we don't want to mention, which is lesbianism. You have girls chasing after girls, because they want to express their hormones, but after a while, for some people, if that's who you have sort of like become, it is heightened. And if that's not who you are, it's not who you are, so it doesn't change the fundamental human nature of the person. But like we know, people can be influenced to do something or be something. And that's speaking to sex and sexuality. But for complex men, I don't know. I mean, if it's the complex around being with guys, look, those things, to my mind, I didn't have that experience, and I'm speaking because I am the product of a school. I didn't have that experience. I had friends who from even JS1, they were already talking about their boyfriends, and they were all we're looking forward to holidays, school breaks. And those of us were doing intercollegiate. The boys used to come now. Our schoolmates from the group of schools within our intercollegiate, they will come when we're doing sports. Yeah, this is the truth. It's not. This is what it is. So my thoughts. So.
Okay,
I
so
think she wants to say something. Yeah, because you put up your hand.
on the question Jude asked, that why do we even have such schools in the first place? I think that some of the schools, most especially the ones that were missionary schools, they actually came in that idea of trying to make the particular sex they were in charge of to have models to look up to and maybe want to be like that, have a way to control and refine behavior in a certain way, so when the girls are in a school that is by reverend sisters, and you see the reverend sisters so well cultured, so well behaved, like modeling, trying to create an impression so that the children would want to aspire in that direction. I really don't know what the idea was for federal schools, but for most mission schools, that was usually the idea. In my own house, 6 kids, two of my siblings were sent to mission schools, same-sex school, while the rest of us went to mixed school. So the 2 who were sent to mission school, the way my mom did it was all the children that were over sharp, were faster than themselves. They sent them to mission school so that they would keep them in check. Then those of us that would be too calm, they sent us to military school so that we open eye.
What do you mean by open eye?
One after me, they sent them to mission school. So my other sister went to 2 secondary schools in Osun State that were run by reverend sisters, so that it will help to put her excesses in check. And then my immediate younger brother was sent to a school with reverend fathers in Ibadan, so that then myself and my other were sent to airport. I think that's the parents understanding the kinds of children they had and wanting to balance things up. So that can also be a factor. But then in terms of complex, I think again it boils down to the children. Where are they coming from? What home were they coming from? What personality type do they have? Because it is what they have that would either be that can be influenced in the schools they are sent into. So if maybe you're already coming from a home where maybe it's just girls, there may be some self-esteem issue there, and then you're not coming to a place where because you have some self-esteem issues, it's easy for people to pick on you. It just becomes something else entirely. But then I also know that when I was in school, we had times when there were competitions with schools that they were same sex, and Ms. Adewuse already mentioned it, that the giggling thing, this is the first time that this is the first time that they are coming into close contact with the boys, and all the things were just exciting them. I just was just like, what's the next one? You know, but again, it was just because of that difference in the way things happen in school. So I can't say that it would make you bad or it would make you good. It's a function of several factors at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I get what you guys are saying, right? Because when I went to school, I was just in school. I was facing my books.
Right.
I was at the assembly. When school closed, I was home and back. I don't even know what you guys are saying. I don't understand.
I don't understand. Why you have to
City, you know, I've always been.
Exactly. Why I like that point.
I'm beginning to suspect you.
I'm just bringing an introductory statement and you're attacking me. It's not fair.
Okay. Let my
like KK has signed something at the back behind the scene with Titi. Anytime I'm talking to Titi, what's happening? I thought we were pals. What's happening? You don't have my back anymore.
I'm digesting. Come on.
Okay, so I'm changing my statement now. So can we say that
my take on that? I think at that time, maybe in the 70s or 60s, when school were still coming up, where we had this disparity between boys and girls, who the boys should be. I think that's where the same-sex school sprung up.
Which one did you go to? Start with that. Which one did you go to?
To start with, I attended a mixed school, and the way we saw it, you said,
what was your experience like
in the mixed school? Okay, at home I had the balance. 7 kids, 4 girls or so, and 3 boys. But some of my sisters attended the same-sex school, but I attended the mixed school. And the way we saw same-sex school were like, sometimes they could be weird in the sense that the way they it's true now, because I'm in a mixed school. We see boys and girls, right? In the same-sex school, when we mix up with them, when they talk about the opposite sex, we're like, this is what we see every day, so it's not like anything special. They talk more like they are very needy of certain things from the opposite sex, and we're like, we are used to this every day. It's nothing new.
Nothing new.
Yes, nothing new. So I think the ideology of same-sex school started maybe in the missionary time, to when we had boys and girls, and we had cultural practices where we don't want boys and girls to be together aside their husbands and wife. So I think that was what promoted that ideology.
And at the end of the day,
it's also
they tend to do more than even the one that are actually mixed together.
So that's why we had more same-sex schools than mixed schools. We had more same-sex schools than mixed schools. Even because I grew up in Benin.
So is it true that they learn better, especially the female folks? Is it true that they learn better in the same-sex school?
There's no basis for the comparison, to be honest. But I mean, I did read when I saw the topic yesterday that one of the reasons why they were set up was to minimize distraction between the sexes. So basically, all those rigid hormones that Rhoda was talking about, and the love notes, which I even experienced in primary school, will be out, mostly for the large part. So I guess maybe that's one of the reasons, but I don't think it matters. I just believe that it's the cultural perspective, especially back from the day where women were seen as less than men, probably. And again, maybe like somebody mentioned Glory Garden schools, that sometimes they also encourage girls to come to school, because parents might be worried about the fact that if I take my child to a same-sex school, what if something happens? So it could also be those I think they're just rooted in cultural perspectives and really nothing to do with cognitive excellence or rigor in any way. I don't think so.
But given the fact that the world has now evolved to a point where we have a lot of people clamoring for feminism, a lot of people clamoring for individualism, a lot of people clamoring for humanism, a lot of people clamoring for a lot of nisms. Now, are we not trying to promote stereotyping when we dwell more with having same-sex school?
Well,
oh, okay. Go ahead, Kate.
Go ahead. Is that Rhoda, or I'd like to hear your perspective, actually, Rhoda.
Right. Okay. I mean, to me, I'm speaking to the isms, and honestly, though, anytime you mention isms, they're kind of like thought processes and philosophies that guide people towards like a certain behavior and stuff like that, or certain, what would I call it? So generally, honestly, I don't in the long term. I mean, there's some small data that says, that the students are more focused academically, so they tend to do marginally better, perform marginally better. So academically, that there's small research is still being questioned or is questionable, because the contexts are different, But so I mean, and then there's some that says, okay, your confidence is a confidence booster because you're not also worried about what the other sex thinks about you, and so you kind of like you're with your peers, your girls, you're in the bathroom, nothing is different, you're in the classroom, nothing is there, everybody's sharing the same thing, when you're going through those stages of growth, you're saying your monthly time, everybody's that is normal, so nothing to be pressured about. You get stained, it's okay, girls, everybody's like those kinds of things, so they kind of like help you I nurture you in a way that you know yourself, your femininity, or what it is called. For the boys, your manhood type of thing. But ultimately, I don't see it that if influence. Look, there are many countries that this doesn't even apply. There's many countries in the world that there's no such thing as it's same-sex school. So I wonder, to be honest, straight answer to your question, I just don't see the influence.
Yeah.
But psychologists have said that girls in same-sex schools tend to be bad, as in if you're looking at it in comparison to male or the male gender.
I think that's
context.
Bad, exactly.
Social and emotional bad.
Nah.
So I think a litmus test about schools like that. I think that it's just a stereotype. I don't think that it's something that marks the general population. You get? I just think it's a stereotype. The way some people will say, "Oh, a particular tribe is dirty. A particular tribe likes money too much, or a particular tribe that they don't know hands." I think that's just a stereotype. It's not really the situation of general population. That's what
exactly. Ugochi, even let's ask Rotimi, do a litmus test of the women here on this platform. You have Rhoda, same-sex school. You have Titi, same-sex school. KK, did you do were you in the same-sex school?
Mixed school.
Right, mixed school. So there's two of us, two on their side, right? And so who is bad?
No, that's not election now.
Election cannot take place like that.
That's a curriculum trick on me. You can't do that online.
Okay, don't mind me. I was joking. but
there's no basis for it.
Dude,
there's no
even we need to wake up. These ladies are dangerous.
No, but what I'm trying to get at, Safety Chick, you get me now. What am I really 100% in sync with Safety Chick, KKTC. Look, there is no such thing as an absolution when it comes to the way humans evolve and develop. We've seen it, like even when we were KK and Titi, this. While we're in school, there are girls, right, who thought that they were going to swing a certain way, like, oh God, I'm going to be, you see them writing love letters, being all kinds of lovey-dovey with girls. And going forward, that wasn't the case. I mean, it didn't make any sense you know, culturally, of course, I mean, there are other conditions can stop you from being that. But bad is a big word. You know, bad is open to interpretation. So I
Yeah,
wonder what it means.
yeah.
What
I
those
want to,
psychologists are saying.
yeah. What I want to say is that it's not one factor that makes somebody go do right or wrong. It's a combination of factors. I think what as parents, what as educators, we always want to do is help people achieve a balance. So that's why even with the same sex schools that we did, you know, we had a balance. We had the balance that we actually had a number of inter competitions that brought you in touch with the boys. Yes, it was fewer than people that are in mixed schools, so it made you more giggly when you saw them. But like I said, the people that had brothers, especially older brothers at home, they had a more balanced perspective because their older brothers' friends came to their house regularly. It wasn't a big deal. In everyone's life, you know, you just want to establish a balance. And what will happen is that even when people are pushed into certain circumstances, it's a mixture of things that would not make them, you know, go one way or the other. One of the very funny incidents I remember way back in school was when the girls used to talk about the boys. They used to just go on and on about the boys. And so I used to go to school by air, and they said there was more excitement happening to those that went by road. One year, I told my father that I wanted to go by road because of this excitement they're always talking about, you know. And my father says, "You want to go by road?" I said, "Yes, I want to go by road because everybody will go by road, you know, the 7-hour journey all the way to the east, you know." And they talk about when they get to Benin, nah. That was how we got to this Benin. Why the honestly, I was so pained that this is what I now took on that journey to come and say, experiment about. And of course, after that day, my father did not want me to go by air again because it was
There you go.
Big time trouble.
there's a lot of that. But when anything really happening, three-quarters of it was a lot of talk, you know, a lot of heightened talk on all that. Even people from mixed schools, when they'll be talking, a lot of it later I just found that was just talk. So in the end, what you want to do is achieve a balance, help your children not to feel that feeling of left out. And in the end, you know what I found that the girls that ever got pregnant in school, whether they were from mixed schools or from the girls' only school, they were usually the JJCs. You know, people that you listen to this talk and get moved and feel that, oh, one guy loves you, takes you to the country. I'm telling you, the Obologos never use that word.
You know, I'm a classic story of a same sex. I'm almost like purely same sex bred. Let me put it that way. I grew up. We lost my dad. I keep saying it. We lost my dad when I was 16 months old. My mom raised us all. My brother was moved. My brother, I won't say moved, but my brother didn't quite grow up with us. In fact, he joined us when I turned 15. And it was 3 girls with my mother that was just, you know, purely raised by a woman in a pure woman home type of thing. Went to secondary school as well, same way, you know, and I won't tell you that, I mean, there's any lack of confidence when it comes to, I mean, we're not here to talk about proper sexuality and things like that, but I won't tell you that, I mean, if I was to put myself out there and say, brother, how do you relate with the world in terms of looking at the male folk and yourself? I wouldn't say that people who went to, you know, had their brothers with them, you know, knew the bro code or more than I did. And because there's multiple factors that played out. Where we read of boys completely? No. I mean, my sisters and I, classic example of people, a family, we all got married the same year, like the same year. And and this is the age group between the three women. My older sister 4 years before myself just about a year before my younger sister, and then we got married the same year. And all of us, if I will go back to tell a bit about ourselves, we met our husbands very early. I met my husband, I was 19 when I met him. My sister met her husband when she was 17, and my younger sister, you know, it was a little later. And so it wasn't like and so these are the guys you meet and then you get married to them in the long haul, you know. So it's like I'm trying to be real here, you know, when it comes to how does it affect you as you go forward in your life, you know. So I don't know, KK. I don't know. It's
Okay.
like
Let's hear from the
Go
guys. You know,
Rhoda.
let me
Go
hear from the
Rhoda.
guys.
Go Rhoda.
Let's hear from the guys. Let's hear from Dr. Eben.
Hear from
Eben
Eben.
is streaming
Eben, I
from
love
the
it.
CME International Studios in Lagos,
Yes,
Nigeria.
good morning, all. I'm sorry I missed the whole of last week's show. I was very busy. And when I saw the topic,
They're
I said I
busy
must
making
jump in.
money.
I don't have choice than to do that. So when I saw the topic,
Eben,
I
see
was
your
not.
mug. Eben, see your mug.
Whoa, this is awesome. This is awesome with
From
my picture.
Nana.
Oh, thank you, Nana. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. Thank you. When I saw the topic, I was like, wow, I have a lot of things to actually share today. I attended the same sex school with a mixture of I attended what's it called mixed school, that is boys and girls together, and the experience was not that friendly at all because a lot of rubbish talk around, and even talking is even easy. Application of those things are now coming into reality. Imagine in primary four, in primary five, they've already caught boys and girls together in an uncompleted building. Imagine coming to GSS one. I was told a boy already impregnated two girls. GSS one. That was not a funny experience at all. GSS two, I know a lot who actually stepped out. Although some of those students they were like adults that time. Imagine having in secondary school GSS three, having a 24-year-old in GSS three, having they were like old like adults. They were like adults. Even the guy that even entered the GSS one, who is who actually impregnated two girls. I think he was 21 as at that time. Now,
So
what I now, when we got to SS class, it was now the reality was now coming into big time reality where we now have big time dating that we know that this set of people they are dating each other, their parents even know at home that they are dating each other. And what I now observe at the end of the day is that they tend not to marry themselves at the end of the day. Even now, as I'm talking to you, some of them they are now it's just like these are normal thing in Nigeria now. Baby mama is what they call all some of those girls. Now, I am using that as the disadvantages of mixed school. Now, let me now talk about the advantages of mixed school. Advantages of mixed school to somebody like me is that I see those things as experience and I apply it into myself so that I won't be able to make some of those mistakes. And some of those things also make me grow by the time I get to higher institution. So you can't be talking about those things in higher institution that I won't hear those things before in my life. So I see a lot of girls in higher institution who actually attended just same sex school, and at the end of the day, they tend to just look like bolo, as Titi said. If you just talk to them and immediately they will respond because they are eager. The eagerness is there that, oh, let me attempt this, let me do this and that. So it is something that I think socialization is just it. They have not socialized, they've not seen it, they've not experienced. They only talk about it, brother. You guys only talk about it. You don't experience it. What's it called? Same sex school. In same sex school, we experience it. We see them. Even in the classroom, you will see all sort of different experience, hugging each other, this and that. So, but in a school that is just same sex school, I know a lot about at least a school around Yaba here. I know a lot that is happening there. I know a lot of girls who actually talk to me and they will tell me this and that. Even as at my NCE, when I was doing my teaching practice, they needed to stop all the teaching practice students, especially male, going to Queen's College because of one particular incident that happened. Something happened. I'm not mentioning any school this time. That the girl school. It was. I know this even was. It was even a terrible case. The girl school. When the guy was deployed as the teacher practice teacher, the girl started writing letter, writing letter, writing letter. At the end of the day, the guy was tempted. Needed to bring one of the girls to the hostel. I was like surprised. Guess how old? 14 to 15-year old. And it was like, this is abuse. It even happened to me a long time ago when I was teaching in a secondary school. I was in my NC, and then a girl came to me, send me a message. Read one, go to two, read two, go to three, read three, go to 15. When I got to the last one, the girl said, "I just want to tell you I love you." I said, "What?" Guest class, SS2. I called this girl. I think the girl was Chinenye the other time. I said, "Chinenye, how are you? I saw your message. Your message is nice, but you know you are too young for this. You need to finish secondary school. If you send me, I was even trying to tell her that if you send me this, if you are out of secondary school, it is possible I will accept this. But you are still in secondary school. You need to face your studies." Now, do you know what I now observe at the end of the day? When I saw this young girl, at the end, I now reminded her that, "Do you still remember that message that you sent?" And she now said, I think that was last year. She said, "I think I was too childish that time. That was why I sent that message." So I observed, because a lot around it. I think when we check the the advantages and the disadvantages of the two, I think mixed school is the best because they will have experience. The people that will fall into the trap will fall into the trap, and then you use them to learn, to be able to apply into your own. And then talking about same-sex school, a lot of things that are not actually something that we accept in our environment happens there, lesbianism, this and that. And then they tend to even attend club. In case you don't know, some of those secondary school students attend club. They have big guys as boyfriend. I want to end my conclusion here before I start saying
Wow.
things I don't want to say.
Let's hear from KK. Let's hear from KK. KK, do you have a response to Eben,
Yeah.
like all that Eben had said? Because you went to his, co-ed. You were co-ed,
Yeah, well,
educated.
that's the reality is what he's just said. Maybe we were not as brash and as bold as things like that, but even then, you did have students in my school, even though we're same-sex school, writing letters to NYSC teachers. So
Yeah.
being in a school that was co-ed, being in a school that is same-sex doesn't mean that they're the only one writing letters. Even those of us in co-ed, we also wrote letters, So it doesn't, like, it really, it's neither here nor there. I think there are a lot of cultural factors and a lot of other things that actually grounds the children. Some of the children are just running away from maybe a home that is too strict and they just want to explore. But at the end of the day, there's exploration underneath that. And as educators, I think we all understand that. Like my Titi said, it's not, throwing your hands up in the air and running away. It's saying, how can I help these children explore this in a manner that builds them for their future? So I think that's where, yeah.
Yeah, I agree,
think
KK. I mean, Rotimi, I mean, sometimes, we know how they say, like, any news is news. Like, bad news is
Yeah.
news, and sometimes
True.
when you hear about particular stories, it becomes like the big story in the school. But when you really go
Yeah.
back to now drill the numbers, how
The
much is the
minority.
percentage of the children, yes,
Yeah.
that are doing
It's
this
minority.
thing? You see that it's not large. You may see that it's not large scale. You may see that it's even less than 5% of the entire population of the school that is engaged in things like that. So I guess what's our tilt then? What do we then say is the real situation? Is it the 5% or to the 95%? Type of thing.
absolutely. But however, I'd like to say this.
Bad
I'd like
behavior
to
is
say
also corrupt manners.
Yeah.
well, let me say this before Titi. We need to also maybe stress that since it's not as if we're in the position to stop one or the other or something, I think we need to emphasize the deficiencies or the things that we need to do to probably add to what should be taught or what should the curriculum or what should the experience be, so that any shortfall or deficit that probably might occur would not, especially looking at the fact that in recent times, there's been need for us to talk about grooming boys in a better way. So same-sex schools, boys in same-sex schools, probably philosophies and orientations that exist. How do we ensure that there's a wiring while they are in school as boys only, that when they come out into society, they are a breed that actually can actually help others, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Rotimi, for me, I think what all the things you've mentioned are actually supposed to be the culture that's existing in schools. And so it's supposed to be school. I mean, whether it's co-ed, same sex, we all have the same kind of, peculiarities in trying to raise girls better, raise boys better. I'm looking at this generation and I'm saying especially the generation that is in quotes woke, the woke ones. They, those ones, look, there's no with them it's still like they're almost like equal. Like, I was part of like the Tone Elumelu alumni tip, and there was a comment that a young man made to me, and it stayed with me till today. This is 2016, that makes it 4 years ago. This young man, while we were sitting through the the exercise, like the what's it called, I can't remember what it's called, like the opening ceremony or something, this young man beside me, and they started talking about girl child education and girls women empowerment. This young man beside me said, I'm just tired of these things. There are no girls around me that are not empowered. Everything is about the girls. Everything is about the girls. What about we boys? We're here. These girls are more powerful than us. They're becoming more and more. Do you understand? They're getting everything. And it is his reality. And I asked him, I said, how old are you? How old are you? And you guess what? He at the time he was 22. So think about everybody who is 20 down. Their narrative, especially and I'm using work for just to to express contemporary young people in different parts of Nigeria across board, because I go to the north, I go to the west, and I've seen them. They're contemporary young people across, whether it's in Medjugorje or whether it's in Katsina or whether it's in Akwa Ibom or somewhere. They are there. All of them are there, and they're watching these movements. And the boys are saying to themselves, "Excuse you, who is not empowered? These women are more powerful than me. These girls are getting everything." So I guess I'm just trying to say, it's a right balance that we want to seek, to the degree of the communities and the empower that need nationally, definitely we need to keep saying those words, girl empowerment. We just need to say it, because the truth is that there is more, like I said, the 95 to 5% degree of the women that are underserved and underprivileged for cultural reasons, for access reasons and everything, and likely to be out of school because if they get pregnant or they're on their monthly time, or just a bit more sensibility, of course, about the boys, but still with the girl empowerment. But I guess what I'm saying is, in short, what Rotimi just mentioned, all those solid points, they're really needed for both girls and for boys.
You are not doing well. Because it has to be linked together. Now you will just no. Sometimes I've actually feel bad about it before, when everything is just focused around girls child education, this that. And even when they talk about these people girls, there were boys too. They were kidnapped that time, but everything were focused around just only girls. And then I feel so bad. If you check organization, employment in any organization, if they want to employ anybody, they employ girls before boys. I won't lie to you, especially
I don't
when
know. I don't know.
Prophet, you don't want to say the truth. Say the truth and be set free. Say the truth.
I don't know.
I don't, to be sincere, I feel so bad about it. And then there was just a time I just needed to just conclude that, okay, I think this is how Nigeria is designed. And
not just Nigeria, the rest of the world.
Not just Nigeria. I think Africa. I think Africa. If any lady is doing something, maybe okay, just check if a lady is actually doing a classroom decoration like me now. Do you know that it's possible that maybe will have traveled to almost all the country around Africa than me as a guy? Chats is money that go.
The gender equality gap is a reality,
Yes.
The gender equality gap is a reality. Yeah, there's a lot of push. It doesn't mean that, like we said, we should neglect the boys, but the gender equality gap is actually a reality, and it's such a deep cultural perspective that we need to talk about it, so that people, especially we younger, well, maybe not we younger parents, so that younger parents, like, yes, I realize
I agree with you, KK, 100%. Yeah.
All right. It's been a great time today, and I don't know what to say. All right. Thank you all for joining. There are people who joined us for the first time. So, ringing the bell of blessings to them. I will be here tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m. tomorrow. Great time together. Thank you all for joining from all over the world. Thank you, KK. Thank you, Odetola. Thank you, Rhoda. Thank you, Tito. Thank you, thank you, Jude. And we will be back. He said?
I'm saying bye-bye to everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you.
Bye. 1, 2.